You should watch this video if you care about anything to do with inequality in the world. And the reason I'm saying that is Africa is the most exploited continent in the world right now. That's just facts, guys. It's just facts. And to be able to fix that inequality, we need to be able to understand how exactly it is that Africa is being taken advantage of. And my thesis, my hypothesis, is that it's because Africans, a majority of Africans, are not properly educated. And I don't mean this in a derogatory sense. I am African, I'm Tanzanian, and I'm talking about this because it hurts me. It hurts me when I'm walking around the world and I see how people perceive Africans. I did a video a couple months ago where I talked about IQ statistics and how Africa has been ranked the lowest constantly, even though I've never seen anybody measure Africans' IQs. But we just perceived to be stupid. And people are taking advantage of us in international deals. When you look at the G7, the Great Seven countries, we're nowhere to be seen. When you look at the G20, there is 19 countries plus the EU, and Africa is represented by only one country, 54 countries, and there's only one to speak on our behalf. Do you guys see what I'm saying here? So in this video, we're going to understand exactly how it is that Africa is being left behind. And my thesis, like I said, is that we're not educated. I have my data. Just as a disclaimer, I'm going to be talking about a lot of negative data that is going to be painting the continent in a very negative light. But there is hope. I'm going to be also recommending suggestions to you who is watching right now. So don't be alarmed. I'm open to criticism, but I'm just letting you guys know ahead of time. So let's dive in straight into the statistics that I found. The first one is that in Sub-Saharan Africa, which is the countries below the Sahara Desert, 68% of people can read and write. 68%. The global average is 87%. So we are already automatically way below the average, guys. Way below the average, which means if you're in a room of 10 Sub-Saharan Africans, between 6 to 7 of them can read and write. The rest have no idea what reading and writing is. And so when people talk about, oh, why is Africa not developing? Africans are picking the wrong leaders, or our leaders are so corrupt. And I'm like, yeah, of course, a significant amount, it's not the majority, a significant amount of our people actually don't know how to read and write. Even if these people are going to be voting, how are they supposed to weigh who's a good leader, who's a bad leader? How are they supposed to make that decision if they are lacking foundational numeracy and literacy skills? That's not even the end of the story. Of course, there's countries like Seychelles that are doing absolutely amazing. I wrote it down here. Seychelles has 96% literacy rate, which is really good. Sao Tome and Principe, 94%. I could already hear people arguing, well, Seychelles only has like 150,000, less than 150,000 people. Sao Tome has like 200,000 people. Namibia has 3 billion people. That is not an excuse. They can handle their people. We should also be, every single African country should be able to handle their own people and making sure that their people are educated. There's countries like Chad, Burkina Faso, and Mali that are the lowest when it comes to literacy. Chad is at 27%, Burkina Faso is at 34%, and Mali is at 31%. This is not acceptable. It's not acceptable. And again, we're going to talk about how we got to this place. And of course, we're going to be mentioning colonialism. But we have to take responsibility, guys. We have to take responsibility because this is hurting us as a continent. It's hurting us. We're not competitive on the global stage and it's not funny anymore. We can kiki on TikTok amongst each other. We can dance to Amapiano and Afrobeats. But at the end of the day, when it comes to real development, improving people's real standards of living, we're not doing anything. And it's because our people are not educated. We're not competitive in the global stage. Now, if you look at things like primary school enrollment, which explain how people cannot read and write, 30 million children in Africa who are supposed to be in primary school are not in primary school. Where are they? I'm glad you asked. They're in mines. The girls are house girls. They're doing labor in people's homes. Some of the girls have gotten pregnant because sex education is basically non-existent. Do you guys see what I'm getting at here? These things are all interlinked. They're all interlinked. If you look at, this is something that blew my mind away, yeah? 90% of Sub-Saharan African kids cannot read and write by the age of 10. They cannot read and write properly. They cannot understand a paragraph. They can just read for fun, but they cannot comprehend what they're reading. 90%, which means if you have 10, only one of them can read, write, and understand what is going on between them and the text. The others are just there for funsies. 22% of children aged 6 to 11 are nowhere near schools. They're not enrolled in schools. Where are they? Again, they're mining stuff in the mines, trying to find minerals for foreign investments. They are playing around in the fields. I know you can dance in the rain for as long as you want, but there should be limits to this. 48 million youth in Africa, and the youth here is defined as 15 to 24. They're illiterate. They can't read and write. If you have 48 million people on the continent, Let me give you an example, yeah? India, for example, is currently richer than Britain, which colonized India. The reason they were able to do that is because their people actually went to school, and these people grabbed every single opportunity on the global stage. When you hear about, oh, customer service agents are all Indians, yes, they are, because their people went ahead and got those skills and they're competitive. Now we have 48 million people who cannot read and write. How in the world are these people going to get the income that they need? How are these people going to generate income for their families? And again, the countries that are leading are Chad and Niger. And I'm very worried about this because Nigerian women have some of the best fertility rate in the world. Mashallah. The only issue is if you're giving birth to 5 to 6 children, which is their fertility rate, and you can't send those kids to school, what is going on there? Exactly. On top of all of this, we're going to talk about gender disparity as well. Girls in sub-Saharan Africa get roughly 9 years of schooling compared to boys who get 10 years of schooling, and girls drop out more because of pregnancy. There's still issues about traditional African norms where girls were never meant to go to school for some reason. Naturally, 66% of girls drop out before completing primary school. No, it's the other way around actually. 66% do end up graduating. 71% of boys graduate. So again, boys are doing so much better than girls when it comes to enrollment and also staying in school. There's, of course, teacher shortages, which explains very well why we have children who are age 10 and cannot read and write while they're going to school every single day. Right, currently, if you look at secondary school enrollment, there is one teacher to every 40 students. The UNESCO, which is the United Nations Educational, Scientific, and Cultural Organization, they recommend one teacher to every 25 students. So we're countries like Malawi and Mozambique are already looking at double the numbers. That is quite a lot. If you look at the need that Africa has for teachers, we need 15 million teachers by 2030. That is 5.4 million to 5.4 million new teachers, and then 9.6 million for replacement of the current teachers. Now, where are we going to get the money to be able to pay these teachers? Because that is one of the issues we have a teacher shortage. We're not paying our teachers well. Where are we going to get the money to be able to pay those teachers? Because African countries are already following UNESCO's recommendation of 15 to 20% of their budget being allocated to education. The only thing with that as well, yeah, guys, and tell me if I'm crazy about this, but no, about this, because of this. I was thinking, yeah, there are countries in Europe, countries like Luxembourg, they're very close to 100% literacy rate, which means virtually everybody in the country can read, can write, can do virtually everything on paper. Now, that said, if that country with their GDP, which is very high as well, they're very rich, they're allocating the recommended, say, 15 to 20%, and we as well, poor countries, developing countries, we're also allocating 15%. We already are behind. So those countries already have a head start because of our colonial legacy. I said I was going to talk about this, about it. We're already behind. We have a historical disadvantage. We cannot be comparing ourselves that way. I think, and call me stupid if you want, or correct me, but don't you think we should be allocating even more to education? What is the point of allocating all this other money to all these other areas if our people are not educated? Education affects everything. If you're educated, you're a better farmer, you're a better doctor, you're a better teacher, you're also a better student if you're educated. Do you guys get what I'm trying to say? I feel like maybe I'm not making a very clear point, but we want to be able to grow to the same capacity as our population is growing. In the video that I referred to in the beginning, I said that Africa by 2050, we're going to have almost double the population. We're currently at around 1.5 billion. We'll be over 2.5 billion in 2050. We need to be able to keep up with that demand. If already right now we don't have enough teachers, what makes us think we're going to be able to educate 2.5 billion people? Exactly. Now, all of that being said, I know it's very harsh in some parts, but I want to acknowledge that there are so many factors that play into this. I've just acknowledged a few just to give you an overview of what is going on. All that being said, there are solutions that you can take, that I can take, that everybody can take actually to reduce these numbers. And starting with just the basics. If you're somebody who's still learning how to read and write in English, you understand the basics here and there. And again, it has to be English because I know the Pan-Africanists are going to come against me and they're going to say we have to reclaim African languages. Good, we should. The only issue is to be able to be competitive on the global stage, we need to learn English. You need to learn English. You cannot, that's not going to change for a very long time. I can't see changing anytime soon. You need to learn English to be able to keep up with the demands of the world. Okay? Learn to read and write in English. That's just like basic level 1. If you finish, I'm not even embarrassed about this. My mom, for example, she only had grade 7 education when she had me. She had to go back to school while I was also in school. Like we were getting up together in the morning. I was wearing my school uniform. She was wearing her school uniform as well. And she was going back to school because she wanted to learn how to read and write, to understand, to comprehend text. It's not something to be embarrassed about because your circumstances have led you to where you are, but it's your responsibility to make sure that you're not left behind as the world is advancing. So go learn to read and write. Just if you're watching me on YouTube right now, you can finish watching this video, go to your search bar and type how to read and write in English. If you can't type it out, click on the little microphone, speak it out. How to read and write in English. There's so many channels that are doing it for free. All you have to do is learn. You have internet, you have a phone, you can learn and read and write in English. Just start with the basics. If you're somebody who can already do that, how about you learn digital skills? So for example, you went through education all the way to secondary school, but you couldn't make it to university. Learn digital skills that will make you marketable in today's world. At this stage, I know a lot of people are like, oh, I'm going to be a millionaire by the end of the year, especially religious Africans. We say this all the time. Oh, I'm manifesting, I'm tapping into your grace. Don't tap into people's graces. Go learn digital skills. That's what you need to do. You need to go. There's so many, I'll link them down below. So many free websites, things like LinkedIn Learning, Google Digital Garage, ALX, which is sponsored by the MasterCard Foundation, Microsoft Learn, so many of them. You can just go ahead and learn things like being a virtual assistant. You could be assisting, just like organizing the calendars of CEOs in the United States while you're comfortable at home and you're still getting a good amount of money. You could learn how to code. Like Harvard University, one of the top universities in the world, is providing free coding courses. Free. All you have to do is sit down with your computer. Don't watch Game of Thrones. Don't watch Game of Thrones on your computer. I mean, sure, if you want to relax, you can watch it. But if lock in and learn digital skills, that will make you very competitive in the world. There's going to be 230 million jobs created that are needed for people to fill in by 2030. Go and grab those jobs, and the only way you're going to be able to grab them is if you actually pay attention to the skills that are in demand and go ahead and earn them for yourself. If you already have those digital skills, you have a nice job, you went to university, you got your fancy schmancy bachelor's degree, how about you start reading about what is going on in the world, trends that are going on in the world, engage in global discussions. I don't understand when people say, I'm not a political person. How are you not a political person? Politics affect everybody. Like everywhere, politics affect everything and everybody. Learn about where the world is headed. Learn about history. What happened in the 20th century when everybody in Europe was fighting everybody, and how that is potentially going to happen again right now because instability is something that happens in the world. We can't have peace forever. Learn about these trends. Prepare yourself. Ensure that you have everything that you need to be able to be marketable in the world. In this world, if you provide value to people, you're going to be fine. And one of the ways you can learn to provide value is gathering as much information as possible. If you already are already there, you read books, you're learning your digital skills, you have the foundational literacy and numeracy, you have an excellent opportunity to be a sponsor to other people's education. You don't have to be a millionaire, guys, to be able to start sponsoring people to go to school. You don't need to have billions of dollars. You can literally donate, like, is it 30 pounds? I was reading, there's something called Compassion World Vision. You can sponsor a child for 30 pounds a month, which is like, I converted to a few currencies in Africa, 100,000 Tanzanian shillings, 62,000 naira, 700 South African rand, 2,000 Egyptian pounds, 8,000 Liberian dollars. With that money, you can sponsor a child for a month. They can be taken care of in their food. They can be in their food needs. Sorry, guys, English is not my first language. Clearly, maybe I should be learning literacy and numeracy. Anyways, so these are just a few things that you can do, but definitely you can start being part of the change. Don't wait until you have a whole lot of money. No, you can learn things like content creation, marketing, freelancing for free online. Don't be left behind. Be part of the change. And education is 100% going to change your life. You have no idea how much potential you have as a person until you're fully educated. You could be the person who has the cure for cancer, and you don't know that because you're not educated. You could be the person who will send humanity to Mars. I mean, Elon Musk is already trying really hard, but you could be the person who does that. But if you're not educated, you won't know that. You could be the best example of a leader on the African continent. But you may not know that if you don't have the skills, if you haven't trained yourself in leadership skills. You could be an absolutely amazing public speaker, a motivational speaker, speaking life into other people. But you may not have that idea. You may limit yourself if you're not able to speak properly. You're not able to communicate your ideas Do you guys get what I'm saying? So I hope this is helpful. I hope this gives you a brief overview of what is going on in the continent. And I hope at the same time the solutions are useful. They're very simple, very practical, but I hope this is going to give you a lot of value and a lot of things to think about. I'm really curious to hear what you guys would think, and just let me know in the comment section. Let me know what you want me to do next, and I'll go ahead and make a video about it. Thank you so much for watching, and you'll see me in the next video. Bye.